You know what's super nice?
Yeah.
We have background music.
Or maybe you do. Yeah, no. Let me go to Twitch.
We're live already, but listen to the background music. It's beautiful. Anyway, should we start?
Yeah, I guess so. If your stream is on already.
Okay. So let's start. So welcome to the stream, everybody. I've been practicing that as well. With me today, I have Per.
Hello.
Is that all?
Well, I'm always here, so I guess people knows me.
Do they? Do they love you as well?
I hope so.
I think they should.
Yeah, but there might be some new people in the stream. Just
Yeah.
saying.
Anyway, Per is Per, and he's perfect. So, moving on to our guest. With us today, we have Heikki from the House of Stark.
No, not from that. You know they have lots of lawyers.
Yeah. So, it's your last name, and you're from
Oh,
a
yeah,
house.
yeah.
So, you know, Heikki is a security auditor at Nixu, which is a Finnish company that does all kinds of security related stuff. And you have your own Twitch stream. Maybe you can post that in the link.
All right.
And post that in the link. Did I say post that in the link? I meant chat.
The chat. Yeah, let's go.
You can keep on spamming it in the chat.
Yeah, I probably will.
And on that stream, Heikki is always streaming mostly games and mechanical keyboards. Is that right?
Yeah.
And you're
So
streaming
basically-
everything in Finnish in an encrypted Nordic language.
Yeah. Can't really say much more about that, but I've gotten quite a good medium-sized community here in Finland, and sometimes a couple of English speakers kind of get lost and are thinking that am I making a bomb or something when I'm building keyboards, and then they're asking in English, and of course I will answer them, but I think I have a really good rally driver English, so they won't be staying long, but usually.
No, I think your English is super good. It's
Yeah,
not
how long
at all
have you
like
been building keyboards? How long have you been building keyboards for?
I think my first keyboard I built last summer, I think, so for 1 year. So yeah.
And then of course the mandatory question: how many keyboards do a person need? What do you do with the rest?
Well, I think I have I said that I had 2 keyboards. Like people think that I have like loads of them, but I have one for work and one at home. But as you can see, there's 2 in the background. but
yeah, I was just about to call you out on that.
Yeah, I saw your face, but yeah, the lower one of those 2 is a Finnish community designed keyboard called Perkele 30. So it's a meme keyboard, you could say. It's I'd say that it's unusable. It's so small.
Yeah, and Per, please don't get Heikki started on mechanical keyboards. We'll be here all day, all night, until the morning.
No, but we don't really have any topic for today, so
yeah,
I guess we
do.
Yeah, we've heard lots about cyber from earlier guests. So guests are.
We have a topic, Pat. Don't lie. We're super prepared. I don't know what you're talking about.
But I'm really happy to be here. Thanks.
We're super happy to have you. Because you're such a passionate man with so many passions to keyboards and cyber memes and everything else geeky.
Yeah.
And you kind of look like a teddy bear.
No, not the teddy bear.
No, it wasn't a question. It was a statement.
It wasn't. It was a statement.
No.
Okay, yeah.
But to the question, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Heikki Stark, and currently living in Espoo near Helsinki. And like Joachim said, I'm working at Nixu certification, doing security audits and keeping the digital society running by auditing and hacking. And actually, last Monday, I got a Finnish business ID, so the Y-tunnus. And now I'm during my free time, I'm also a small entrepreneur doing keyboard stuff. So that's how far I have gone into the madness and looked into the abyss, and now we're here. And I also am a part of a small hacking team called Leftovers. I think we beat Joachim at Pysty Vetää team in the Sanoma Pro Hack Day last year, I think. So we have some trophies below our name, at least.
Yeah, I think we beat you in all the other hack days though. So
I think that we participated with you at Lähitapiola last year only, so it's kind of like 1-1 currently. We were at Nokia Hackathon as well, but I think Pysty Vetää wasn't there.
Yeah, well, anyway.
Yeah, but that's where we beat Team ROT, Team ROT.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the last year Lähitapiola was a kind of a bummer for us. Didn't get lots of bounties there, but yeah.
Yeah. So from what I understand, when you're at work, when you audit companies, it's mostly related to like government security compliance standards.
Yeah, right? Mostly. And lately I've been looking into the payment card industry as well, doing lots of PCI DSS audits as well. So the technical stuff from that. So I'm not a qualified service assessor, security assessor, so GUSA. So I just know about the technical stuff, but don't know that much about the PCI compliance stuff. So, but yeah, for the government stuff in Finland, we have this standard called Katakri, and that's what my cup of tea usually is. But been doing lots of different stuff and lots of web application security stuff and everything between.
So what is your
bug bounty and responsible disclosure?
I have a HackerOne account. I can say that, but I have not posted any bounties. I've been at information security business for almost 3 years now, and during my free time, I've been doing CTFs, but haven't really gotten into bug bounties. I think that I had a kind of like, at one point I was thinking of going into the bug bounties, but then I kind of realized that I'm doing this almost 8 hours per day, and then I'd have to do it on my free time as well. But
yeah, I had the same issue. I have a background as a developer, so I started first programming 8 hours and then coming home and programming 8 more hours. Like, it's not as fun as it used to be. So
yeah, definitely.
So if I may ask, what did you do before?
I studied actually. I went straight from school to information security business, but during my studies, I actually was a marketing manager. So that's where all the graphical stuff that, for example, I've designed a couple of stickers for Joachim for Hayusek, for example. So, and that's why my memes are usually really liked, at least by some.
And now we're gonna go to the actual topic, Pat, that I'm not sure if even you knew about.
But I came up super busy today, so I haven't caught up yet.
I came up with this topic, and basically I want to talk about
RTX 30 series or Cyberpunk. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but I'm looking at Joachim's posters in the background. They're looking pretty nice.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, we can just keep interrupting you.
Fucking hell, guys. So I want to talk about security in governments versus private companies, and also how do you see governmental security versus private security. Also, I mean, when it comes to standards, we're seeing, we know about the NIST standard and other very popular standards that actually come from governments. But how do you see the space, like the difference between, let's say, security in the governments in comparison to security in private companies?
Well, that's a really good question, and of course, it varies quite a lot. For example, if you're looking at Finnish authorities, like for example how they do social media, you can see that how much they can vary. For example, here in Finland, the tax governance, for example, has they are posting memes and they are doing lots of cool stuff. And then there's some other, for example, of our Kela, the Kansaneläkelaitos. Can't remember what
It's like a
in
social welfare or something.
Yeah. And when you're comparing those, only their messaging, how they're doing social media and stuff, you can see how much they can vary. And you can see that also between different authorities' security. But when comparing to the private companies, I'm actually seeing lots of similarities. The bigger the organization or the authority, the more they are kind of lost in their own environment, and you can see the lack of asset management everywhere. So basically, they might just see when they order an audit, they might just order it just to get a map from their environment that they want to know how the things are, because they just don't know.
I actually had a super good quote a few days ago related to asset management.
Yeah.
And it was something along the way that asset management is kind of like friends. You can only remember, I think it's like 60 or 100 friends you can remember, and then you can't remember each and every one of them. And asset management is kind of the same. When you start to have like more than 100 endpoints, then you are kind of lost.
Yeah. Even if you're naming all your endpoints as Pokemons, as some clients are, it doesn't matter at that point. When you have 900 Pokemons, you can just remember. You might remember the Pokemon names, but you can remember what the endpoint is actually doing.
Yep.
And you can't catch them all.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, but some hackers can. And they usually go for those. But yeah, like you said, the bigger the bigger their organization, the amount of spaghetti just grows, and you can't eat it all usually. And that's basically what I seen in private companies as well. And I'm actually really dreaming of a day when I get to audit a 10-person small company, and they have just everything right. I'm really looking forward to that day.
And when is that day coming?
Not really sure. I think that, but hey, I'm still young. I might just see it before I retire. I think that day might just come at some point. I'm really hoping.
Yeah,
Or
because
start the company.
well, the reason I asked is because for us, we're doing a lot of the right stuff and the good stuff and stuff like that, but we're also big, so
yeah,
we also have a lot of spaghetti.
Yeah, I remember the talk you gave at the second Helsec at Elisa, and it was about your security security breach in 2017, was it?
Yep.
Yeah. And I think, Joachim, you said that you have like 40 servers per developer or something. The amount was really huge, if I recall correctly.
I don't remember the exact number.
Yeah,
and
but
it's
it was
growing
huge
by the day.
Yeah.
Yep. I have my own list, and I think we're on that list it's like 6,000 or 7,000 host names.
Yeah. So that's kind of a lot to manage for at least even a small team. And every single one of those should be kind of somewhat secure at least. Of course, you have to kind of classify all your data so that it's no use to make everything like a only local network and stuff when you have to post something publicly to websites or something.
Yeah. But Then we get to the next question. Standards.
Yep.
And since you like really work with government standards, do you see other open source standards that would be better, or what are your thoughts on the different standards in the security industry at this time?
I kind of have a small insight on Finnish standards, but can't say that much for European or even more global standards. But what I'm really liking is the OWASP standards that they're making. And what I'm really liking, at least here in Finland and at least in some European countries, they're actually using the OWASP standard best practices for their standards, and they're not trying to invent the wheel again, and they're just like using all these best practices that are made by the community and OWASP project organization, and they are kind of like thought already that there are the industry standard that you should aim for, and that's really good that they're also using those good stuff on their standards and not just wanting to make everything complicated without a reason.
Are you involved yourself in OWASP? Do you have like a local chapter?
I think that I was looking forward to joining the at least the meetups that they've been keeping at here in Helsinki. The 2NS has been hosting those pretty long time, but they've always been on a really hard day to get there or something. There's always been something in the way.
Yep.
But I'm really looking forward to all the meetups whenever they're gonna start at any point soon.
I was actually speaking at one of those OWASP meetups in Helsinki at some point.
Oh, cool. On what subject?
It was about secure development SDLC.
Okay, so why did you talk there? So didn't they find anyone more compliant for that?
I have no idea.
He was like begging, please let me speak.
Yeah, please take me.
Okay, if you stop, we will let you speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I think it's good that people are engaging in the OWASP communities.
Yep.
I know many of our team members are part of OWASP organizations, or either local chapter leads, or have been talking to them. I think I've talked to like 3 or 4 OWASP chapters, different ones, and I have one more in Sweden coming up. I don't know the date yet, but
but those are usually really high quality meetings, and I'm really looking forward. I've seen loads of the talks online, but really want to join on premises as well.
Yep.
And one of the things that I checked when I was joining Nixu is actually that I saw that Nixu is sponsoring OWASP as well. So
that's good.
Kind of like giving back.
Yeah.
Joachim has a face that he doesn't know that if Visma is, he's just typing the credit card currently.
No, we are not sponsors yet, even though we have suggested that we maybe should, because we are using a lot of OWASP tools, and we're using OWASP SAM standards, and our pen testers are following the OWASP guidelines and things like that. So
they're really good.
It's one of my tasks to find out how we can sponsor open source projects, actually.
We were supposed to be like, I think it was like bronze sponsor on the OWASP conference that was supposed to happen in 2020, but everyone knows what happened. So
but we went to Israel last year, so that was cool. However, I think more companies, a lot of companies utilize the OWASP standards, and I think more companies should sponsor OWASP so that these standards can improve.
Yeah, and of course, if you can't sponsor with money, you can always sponsor with time. There is both code and documentation and the workshops. Many times they ask for feedback. So there is many different ways that you can actually contribute back.
Yeah,
I've done that myself. So
yeah, really important stuff.
Does the Finnish government standard utilize a lot of OWASP stuff as well?
I think that, what could I say? Well, basically
how
all
much can you
the
say? Are
well,
you
I
on
can
NDA? So
no. All the Finnish standards are that I audit are actually, you can find them from the government web pages. So I can talk about the standards, but not what I've been doing at audits. That's different.
yeah, of
But
course.
yeah, the usually, for example, if we are doing an audit on a server which has a web service going on, basically, for example, Katak doesn't say a lot about website security, but of course, if your website is bad and it has all these vulnerabilities and holes, then of course those should be plugged in before you can say that it's anywhere near secure. So it kind of like doesn't step in the toes of OWASP, but there's a couple of these spots in the Excel sheet that you can add all these OWASP stuff. But usually, if the standard doesn't say anything about websites, of course the ASVS is where we're gonna go. And of course, OWASP top 10 and all these stuff, they're always great to have.
Yeah, I've kind of seen the same also, and now I'm only comparing to like US standards and things like that. But many times they are like infrastructure firewalls, but nothing at all on application security.
For example, of course there's some overlap. One of the biggest things is encryption. So, for example, if the TLS ciphers are bad, then that's one of the things that the Finnish standards usually they specify. We have this, it's M72. It's in Finnish it's määräys 72, and that's the basically it says that what all these identity services should use for TLS ciphers and how strong the encryption should be. And that's one thing that the standards usually say that they should be higher than the ASVS says.
How often does they update this standard? Because I guess like things like TLS changes. So what version is it now, and how often do they release new versions? Do you know that?
It's actually currently in the works that there's gonna be new release coming out of that, but the thing with the government and authorities is that nobody really wants to take the risk of saying that, for example, we've been waiting for a couple of clients have been actually asking us that, do you know if the Cha-Cha cipher is going to be supported at any time soon? And I'm going to say that it's going to take a couple of years at least before someone says that it should be okay. Mm-hmm. And here in Europe, at least the CERTs usually talk between each other about encryption stuff. For example, I've seen a couple of documents that the Germany's CERT has said that is cool to use, and then we have been able to apply those things here in Finland as well. So what everyone is kind of like it's kind of a Mexican standoff that you say that the Cha-Cha is good. No, you say salsa is good, and everybody's waiting just for someone to say that it's okay to use.
From what I remember,
it's kind of the same, especially when it comes to encryption. You know, everyone has backdoors. You know, the US have hacked Israel. Israel has hacked Russia. Russia have hacked US, and like it all goes just crisscross. And
from what I remember, one of my first steps into security back in the day was actually being audited by the standard that you work for. Or that you work on, right? And I remember like some of the most important things for them back then, at least, was, you know, the people, the physical security, and like the infrastructure security. And I remember us walking into like a data center and, you know, looking at locks and shit.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like, why? You know,
Well,
if I were to hack some of our servers, I wouldn't physically go anywhere. You know,
yeah.
if a, let's say, a nation state would attack the servers, they're not gonna go to the data center location.
Yeah.
I think so. From my perspective, I think there was a lot of emphasis on physical security, which most of the time probably is not the most important one, actually.
I think
Definitely.
What do
many
you think about
standards are
that?
probably. Yeah, sorry.
No,
Go ahead,
go.
Heikki.
No, I was just going to say that I agree on that point that it's one of the, well, Kataker can be divided in three different pieces. There's the management security, like the leadership, it's turvajohtajuus in Finnish. So that one, and physical security and the technical security. And the if we're calculating man days, then the technical security takes the most time, almost always. But the management security usually is just having interviews with the management and with the employees and these kind of thing. The physical security is interviews and going on sites, and the technical security, it involves the groundwork that what I basically do, so the technical testing and also interviews and documentation. Of course, documentation review is in everything, but of course the technical stuff takes the longest time.
But it's interesting to see that many standards are probably out of date. Like I haven't
Yeah.
seen too many standards that, for example, covers culture and people and
Yeah.
uh, phishing and social engineering attacks are still the number one factor. So we're talking
Yeah.
about humans. You can still have super secure data centers with iris scanners and security guards. Like, but yeah, what about the people?
Yeah, definitely. And at least when we've been talking with Traficom on Kataker standard, it's like talking with a real foil hat, because it's always that how come I know that you're not a spy? And yet again, we're just pointing guns with each other, that how come we know that you're not the spy? And but of course the systems should be so made so that the human, if we all can agree that the human is always the weakest link, at least they say so. And but of course the system should be designed so that it doesn't matter that much if we have all these kind of processes that you have to go through. And of course if you're in the middle of the data center plugging a USB stick on the server that you got from a phishing campaign, then of course I think that phishing campaign really wanted the data and kind of knew what to do. It's always at that point it had to be at least kind of like unfair for the guy who was fished to go there. They had to really know what strings to pull.
So that's it for governmental security.
Did I make it? Did I pass?
No, but we made it through.
All right.
So now we can talk more about fun stuff. Now
Okay.
that all the viewers have left.
So finally about keyboards.
Yes. Let's talk about the gadget that you showed us.
Oh yeah. Okay. So the cool thing here at Helsinki is that we have lots of these people who are hacker minded, and when you're talking with them about some cool thing that you know is somewhat useful, you could say, but still other people might ask you that why the heck we have all these kinds of other stuff that you could go and get off the hook pretty easily. But for example, we have Dist and Heikki and Hasase Joni and all these great people who are asking you why not do it. So basically me and Heikki the other Heikki, who knows electronic stuff, we have been messing around with this Disobey 2018 patch. And I'm kind of like, I usually solve problems by adding mechanical switches to them. So I added a few for this. All the buttons are still working, the non-mechanical stuff as well. But for what we actually done with this, we flashed the firmware on this, and we've been designing a kind of like a macro pad, and what could be used as a pad USB attack vector as well. So I can show you that it actually works. And the project name for this is Rubber Heikki, just because the rubber ducky is, everybody almost knows that what it is. And then there was all these two Heikkis, and we might like rubber suits or not, but yeah, I have like comparing this to the rubber ducky is that when I plug this in, you can see that I'm actually still online. Usually rubber duckies, they always just fire off their payload as soon as you plug those in. And what's cool about this, and what kind of like red teamers or anyone else could kind of like kind of how could I say it, get any value out of this, is that this can have loads of payloads, and the amount of payloads that this can handle is only memory dependent. In Rubber Ducky you can only have one. The Bash Bunny, I think it has 2 payloads or 3 payloads, but not that much. I've added 3 payloads to this, and I still have 5 keys left that I could be using for payloads. And this, of course, is a Disobey patch. We are doing a custom-made PCB, and it's gonna be a lot more useful. It's gonna have a screen. That much I can tell you about that. But for example, if you look at Joachim's chat now, I can just press the one payload. I think you should see a pyramid of dogs now coming there.
Oh yes.
So that's one payload that I have, and of course I wanna do some advertisement here in Joachim's own stream. So this little script over there, and I have one payload, but that's for later. But that's something that me and Heikki and Joni have been doing.
Cool.
Yeah.
And of course, because you have 4 buttons, you can basically have more or less unlimited, or not unlimited, but about 10,000 combinations. I have a similar one. I bought it, I think it was like Kickstarter project with 4 switches. So basically, each switch is 1 or 0. So, and I just named the payload 0001, 0002, sorry, 0001, and so on. So I can have quite a lot of payloads. Of course, you can do the same with your buttons that you require 4 inputs, for example.
Yeah, and
but did that badge have more buttons than the 4 big ones? Did it have like small buttons?
Yeah, it has.
So actually, you can't really see them properly in this video, but I think how many buttons is there in addition to the 4 that we can see clearly?
Here.
Yes, there is small buttons.
Here. Yes, small buttons. Yeah, as well. So that's, I kind of like one of my big buttons have the solder came off, but as you can see, it's really looking nasty currently. But it was just a small proof of concept. Just wanted to do cool stuff, and I think I did at least some type of cool stuff.
So are you going to create like a product out of this eventually that you will maybe sell to red teams?
Yeah, that's
it's
one
not
of the
so
things.
Stealthy.
Yeah, of course it's not stealthy.
But this is the proof of concept.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because the reason why this is a Disobey patch is that this is running the same microprocessor as we're going to design the production version one. And since we've been doing this with Heikki Juva, he is the Disobey patch team lead, I think. And I think he has he asked that how many of these I want. So he has this Disobey 2018 patches, quite a few. So that's the reason why this isn't so stealthy. We have some renders what the end product might be, but I think I'm not ready to show it to you. I can say something about the features that it's going to have. Like I said, it's going to have a screen. So the payload that you have, it's going to change accordingly to the whatever you want to write there. So in our renders, for example, we have 3 keys, and those keys say like reverse shell, Mac OS, Linux, and Windows. And one of the things that we're adding is actually a rotary encoder. So basically a knob that if you rotate it clockwise, it's going to change layer, and the payloads are different on different layers. And you can have basically infinite amount of layers as long as your memory is, you have free memory going on. So we can say how many payloads it's going to have. And this could be, even this supports like, I could have one of the switches, I could make it so that it's a layer toggle. So even this one isn't limited to the 8 payloads that this have. For example, I could add it so that I press one of these buttons, and then after that the layer changes and all the payloads changes as well.
Can we have the pyramids one more time?
Yeah, pyramid. Let's go. All right. There you go.
Boom. Nice.
But it's super good that you are using the old 2018 badges, because otherwise they would just be thrown away or just stored indefinitely. So it's much better that you are desoldering them and reusing the parts.
Yeah.
Even though I used to do a lot of desoldering back in the days, and it's so boring, like capacitors and like sorting.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but this isn't that tiny soldering that all these capacitors usually take. This isn't even SMD soldering, so this is kind of like the simplest form of soldering for me. Yeah. And I shared this on Twitter as well, and even Benjamin Särkkä from Disobey said that this is exactly what they wanted people to try out with the patches, so that people would use it for development stuff, for other cool stuff.
But here's the question: in your render for the new, or like the production version of this thing, are the buttons screens as well?
Might be. That's one of the things that we've been researching quite a lot, but it's something that we're gonna decide on Saturday. I think Joachim was there when we were you at the Suomenlinna last summer? No, okay. No. Then you might have some other inside info. Don't know.
No, I just that was just an idea that came to my mind.
Benjamin was also here two streams ago, so
yeah, remember. But
so speaking of switches, what's the best switch?
The best switch, I can just show it to you. I happen to have.
Personally, I prefer brown switches, but
yeah. Well, this is the.
I think you're wrong. This is the one.
No. I meant the switches. Actually, no, not the.
So I have one here. This is a Xilinx version 2 from CLPC.
So is that the one I have?
Is
that the one I have?
No, you have a Gateron Silent Black Ink. So I have them back there, but I won't be getting off my chair. People might.
How is that compared to the Cherry MX switches? Is it like a silent, or is it gaming or typing?
Well, I think that all the gaming and typing stuff that people are usually putting the dividing the linears and tactile switches in between. I think that's kind of bullshit. I have these are very tactile. It's a really smooth switch, and this one is actually so that if you can see, there's like a black little rectangle there. So it's a switch film that makes them even kind of a little bit smoother and kind of reduces the wobble from the switch. And I've actually added lubrication in the switch, so it's a really smooth and really good feel for a switch.
Yeah, mechanical keyboard people are just lube fanatics.
yeah. Joachim saw a big tube of lube on my desk when I was building his keyboard on the stream. But actually, I can show that the production version of the Rubber Heikki, which is the the project name. And no, not that one. No. I'm launching all my pillows. Fuck. Oops. I think this is the only demo
what
effect
is
that I
this?
could have here. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. Let's go was the telecom. But yeah, the oh, you're looking at. But yeah, Go was the telecom was made last Disobey. That's okay.
It's a secret undercover spy company.
Yeah, definitely from Kouvola. But yeah, these are the switches. They are low profile switches. It doesn't. No. Yeah.
No.
So really low profile. These are brown, but I think we're gonna add options for everyone. When the stealth is not optional, you can have the clicky ones as well. But yeah.
Do you have the clicky switches, Joachim? I can see you as the clicky
No.
person, Joachim.
No. I have the silent silent assassin switches.
Yeah. I think the Joachim has one of the most silent linear switches that you can have.
See, I have those.
The good thing now, of course, is RTX voice and noise cancellation. So
yeah, it's really good.
You can still be in like a stream like this. You couldn't do that just a couple of years ago, and then you needed to have silent switches, or ruin your stream.
Definitely.
Yeah,
like
but
click.
I like it to be silent anyway, and the keyboard I have that Heikki made, which I showed you. I'll show it to you one more time. This sexy Miami style keyboard is the best keyboard ever.
It's really good that you ordered that kind of keyboard, because I think it was 2 weeks ago when I made exactly the same kind of keyboard for my friend Ville Erkkilä.
Yeah. See, it's picking up. People
really
understand that, these are the colors, this the thing.
Yeah.
It's the new 80s right now. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, like we're looking at both of your rooms, and even my room, we can see that there's some pink and some blue going on.
Yeah. That's the stuff right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really looking forward to your device. Hopefully that device also has some Pokemon or something fun.
Might be.
Not just a boring hacker device, but also maybe some fun.
Yeah, definitely. We are designing it so that you can use it on daily basis, even on your desktop. For example, comparing to the Stream Deck that we discussed earlier.
And of course, it's going to be open source, right?
We're not so sure about that. Currently, the firmware that it's running is actually open sourced, and actually, it's the same firmware that is running Joachim's keyboard.
Backdoor.
Yeah,
I think
it's backdoor by Heikki.
Yeah. Who would have thought that buying a keyboard from a hacker would be a bad idea?
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, definitely.
But of course, now we're just joking about it. But it could, of course, be a real scenario, especially nowadays when both the mouse and keyboards are more or less a computer. They have a dedicated processor. It's not just sending the key. It actually is a full-blown computer.
Definitely, and even the open source, it's called UMK firmware. It's quantum mechanical keyboard. It actually supports that you can open a very limited shell on the keyboard for debugging.
Mm-hmm.
So that is really one of the scenarios. But the good thing about that is that you compile the firmware yourself and you flash it yourself. So even if the PCBs and all the parts are from China, then they'd have to do a kind of like a dual bootloader or something that if they wanted to get something out of that.
Have you ever seen or heard any device related, like keyboard, mouse related hacks in the companies that you've audited or the?
Not really, not really. I think what people have been talking about was, and currently are talking about, are the Logitech unifying receivers. They're
Mhm.
for for keyboard receivers, they're receiving a lot of exploits last couple of years, I think, and
Yep.
it's kind of funny that how they've managed to do all those stuff, because some of the receivers, I think what the news said that they can't be updated so that they are not vulnerable. They had to release a whole new version out of the unifying receiver to patch those things.
Yep. I think our company actually banned all of the older
Yeah,
devices.
yeah,
How
and
likely of an attack scenario is one of your old Logitech keyboards in your
It was still,
audits?
of course, it of course was still very limited because you needed to be in physical proximity. So you're your
yep,
neighbor basically.
yeah, and
Or a
and
spy?
that's one of the yeah, but that's basically the same kind of like risk vector as Tempest attacks go. That they have to do lots of reconnaissance, recon stuff before they can kind of like decide that they're gonna go with the unifying receiver exploit for you.
Yeah.
'Cause that
But
would
of
be
course,
just
if we're
yeah,
talking like a government or
mm,
criminal organizations, they of course will do it no matter what. So that
yeah,
and then it becomes very important that you actually update your software or don't have those kind of vulnerabilities. So.
yep,
Yeah, but
definitely.
from
But for you and me, well, maybe not so much. So.
uh, from physical attacks, actually, that reminded me of some of the attacks that has happened. I remember the Norwegian Parliament or something like that.
Mm,
They like they took their printer and like pulled it out and checked behind, and there was like basically like a switch with different nation state plug devices in the back. And some of our people in Norway were saying that they don't even want to check our Oslo office, like behind the printers at the Oslo office,
yeah,
to see what there is. Is that something that you've encountered in your work?
not really that much. But like I said, that's one of the reasons why asset management is really important, and having all these kind of cool asset management software even is pretty cool. And that's one of the things that should be noted, even if there's a one IP address that you can say for sure that what is or isn't, then you should start researching that why is there an IP address that you can't know for sure what it is, at least in server environments. And one of the reasons why they're talking about a printer is in those is actually that the printers don't usually have the 802.1x authentication thingy going on, so it's kind of lot easier to add a switch there than any other port in the
And
firm.
of course, a printer is normally also connected to the
Yep.
network. I've seen also like power bricks
Yeah.
that was actually like a Raspberry Pi or
Oh
something like
yeah.
that. But then of course that needs to have some kind of Wi-Fi or a 3G signal, and
Yep.
then of course that's much more easier to spot.
Yeah. And of course, there's lots of these kind of cool tricks that people want to think about red teaming action and everything. But I haven't seen any nation that's a thing. That's a thing that I can say that I haven't seen any nation state actors in the systems. Usually, when we are doing audits, is that it's before it's going into the production, and when they pass the audit, then they might put the system in the production. Of course, if in that point that in the life cycle of the system we will find a nation state actor in the system, that will be kind of a funny scenario. And I think the meeting that or the phone call that we do at that point would be kind of something that I would remember for my rest of my life.
Have
So
you done anything yourself or in your work related to honeypots? Like
no,
setting up honeypot networks or
n-
servers or things like that?
No, not really. I used to at my old company. I was one of the admins at this security lab. We had a couple of servers that were facing the public internet. Of course, from a professional point of view, I checked how its SSH Outlook looked like, and I was thinking that maybe I could do a kind of a script that would gather all the passwords and see what's the most common one. But of course, it was really fun looking at the log with the tail command, seeing that how it kind of like well, it was lit up like a Christmas tree.
Yup. So I'm really looking forward to the day that you actually have an audit and you meet someone from a nation state on those servers because I've heard some of these stories where people have done that. Seen nation states or other hackers in systems that they've audited, and I'm really hoping that you also get to experience it because it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. It might be that at that point I am definitely not the best professional that would be looking into that matter of fact.
Yeah, then you need the
really
forensics team on site.
Definitely would love to be a fly on the roof and look what they're doing at that point.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting sort of category of security, actually hunting these guys and reversing what they've done.
Hunting hunters.
And on that point, actually, one of the tools that we will open source quite soon is Columbo, which is a forensics tool that helps forensics investigators to actually find out what has happened, what payloads have been run on the system and all that stuff, and it's utilizing machine learning and statistics to sort of find the most probable culprit.
Yeah, sounds really interesting project.
Yeah. Yep. And the name, of course, Columbo, comes from the Detective Columbo series back in the day.
Yeah.
So hopefully this. I guess you guys are too young to remember that one, but Columbo always had one more question, and that question was the pivotal question that solved the crime normally. So hopefully we can have that with this tool as well. So in light of that, you already quite transparently said that you haven't met nation states. What is your take on transparency?
I'm really loving the transparency aspect, of course, but I have never been in a kind of a position to decide if I should be transparent or not, or if some company should be transparent or not. I can see the reasoning behind lots of situations where you have classified material or anything that, of course, you can't be transparent at that point, and there are other situations as well. But regarding security incidents, I think that it's always good to be transparent, even if of course it might be bad decision when thinking from a CEO perspective. But when we're talking about other security researchers or anyone else, I think that everyone values from the transparency at that point.
Yeah.
So people.
Pat disappeared somewhere. What happened?
Don't really know.
That's weird.
Pat decided that he doesn't want to be transparent.
Oh, yeah. Pat, why don't you want to be transparent? Oh, maybe he's...
But yeah, I can see the reasons why something should be kept as a secret.
Yeah. I definitely agree that there are edge cases where you really can't be transparent, but most of the time I'm a heavy supporter of transparency, just because I want people to know what's going on and what's happening.
Definitely.
And transparency, in my mind, kind of builds trust. But it is, of course, much more complicated than just those few words. But
Yeah.
in general, I think it's an important thing.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I think that at least in the security field, people should be more forgiving, because everyone makes mistakes, and all these kind of incidents, they for some it's only a matter of time, and if I can't remember, was it if Nahamsek is after you, it's only a matter of time, like they say.
Yeah.
So it's nothing to be embarrassed, but the lessons learned and what you do after is the important stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, everyone fucks up, so, you know.
Yep.
I think it's more about how you handle the incident rather than you actually being hacked or something like that, because, you know, everyone will be hacked eventually, kind of.
Yep.
It's just about
of course, ignorance is bliss, but I'd rather know that I've been hacked than living having peaceful dreams of not being hacked.
Yeah.
Welcome, and of course,
back,
it's always
Pat.
better. Yep. Of course, it's always better to prepare that. Okay, so we will be hacked at one point in a time, and basically prepare for that from day one, and have like communications plans, and be transparent. Okay, it happened to us, but it happens to it can happen to anyone. Instead of just going with no comments or things like that, it just makes the thing worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it also seems like you're covering something up. But Pat, what happened?
No, I just had to go and get some more drinks.
Ah.
No.
Is that vodka?
From Ovas? No, it's water.
Oh, yeah.
I only had a Coke before, but it's out, so.
It's something, yeah.
It's only midweek, so no strong stuff, not yet. We'll save that for Friday, maybe.
Yeah, I think that Joachim was trying to frame me. He said that, what about a cold drink and a little stream podcast thing? And for a cold drink, he meant something else than beer, and I was really surprised.
This is vodka. So refreshing. Pat has pink vodka because he's Swedish.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. Did we have some other questions, Pat?
Yes, we always have the final question, the most important one.
Oh yeah.
That is, what is your favorite ice cream? Let's say favorite flavor, ice cream flavor.
My favorite ice cream flavor is from Valio licorice. Definitely licorice.
And in the chat, someone said that Heikki actually drinks lube. So.
Yeah, that's actually Ville who is in the chat that got the same keyboard as you do. Yeah.
So he knows.
He knows.
What's maybe in the future I know where to get my new keyboard. I'm currently saving up for a new computer, so no food for the next couple of weeks, and then I only have to sell a kidney. No, but seriously, I'm planning at least to get a new computer pretty soon. So
yeah, but you know what would go pretty good with a new computer? It will be a new keyboard as well.
You know, Pat, I have an idea. Maybe a Miami-style keyboard.
Well, when it comes to keyboard, I have quite a lot of requirements, but we can talk about that later.
Yeah, definitely.
But the requirements are good. I think you know it's just you have to be prepared to pay for your requirements. So
yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
pretty much. And on that note,
I was actually before we leave. Speaking of my new computer, I was actually planning on buying like a ready-made computer. So I looked what's available, and no one of the ready-made packages was what I wanted. But I thought I'm too old to build my own computer again. I did it before, so all of my computers have been done by me. But I thought now I'm too old.
Okay.
But no, it's probably going to be my own custom build, but that may be the last one.
no. You have
Alright.
to always do it, man. It's the only way to
Yeah.
get the stuff you want. And
Yeah,
it's
then you-
because the requirements that you have for
Yeah,
everything.
exactly. So
You
I've
have
been
to do
spending
it.
the last couple of nights like doing research on like memory, fans, case. Well, I have the picture in front of me. Like I want it to be black or dark, sleek design, no tacky LEDs. Like
Yeah.
I have the picture in my head already.
No tacky LEDs, but you're still having a colorful lights at your background, and
Yes, of course, that's in the background, but I don't like the LEDs inside of the computer.
yeah.
I would probably prefer to have not the transparent side, but actually noise dampening material. So
Yeah.
But Pat, this is not an interview about your computer. So on that
no,
note,
sorry.
thank you everyone for joining the stream.
Hey,
And
I
thank
have
you,
one
Heikki,
last
for being
payload.
on the
Yes,
yeah.
last
Do
payload.
it.
I'll have the last payload, so let's go.
Yes. Very
It's-
nice.
And there we have the drum roll.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, that's my last payload.
So thank you, Heikki. Thank you, Pat. And
Thank
good
you.
night,
Yeah,
everyone.